Nigeria bans ATM cash withdrawals. Exchanges delist coins. What does that mean? Tether launches Chinese Yuan on Tron. Bankrupt crypto lender Celsius to release $2.8 million worth of bonuses to prevent staff from leaving. Chainlink staking successfully launched. Winamp goes Web3 with Ethereum and Polygon NFT music support. Solana investment products attract institutional investors after price crash. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Assets of Value podcast. Today, on December the 7th, and every day, we connect to share our insights and perspectives on crypto, Web3, and NFT topics. We are the founders of Assets of Value, a Web3 research organization. Our podcast is not to be taken as legal or financial advice. Let's dive straight into it. Abe, what are the markets looking like today?
Hey Schwab, we are seeing a bit of resistance from the market to cross 17K region. I'm talking about Bitcoin, of course. And we have Ethereum resistances coming up. And I think the market will remain stable as we enter the Christmas month. I think there's a huge possibility for a relief rally and then a Christmas dump because historically that's what's happened.
So I'm looking at the prices for majority of the tokens. Everything is red across the board. We're in December, the into the second week of December almost. First week is now done. When is this relief rally coming? I mean, markets close out during, traditionally second week or third week at the very latest. Crypto is 24/7. Where is this rally that people believe is going to take place? And then a dump after that. Are we still seeing, can we still expect the same sort of cycle?
I think so. And the rally could be occurring on the third week of the month. I think there's a huge possibility, but we have to see the macro situation also. Nothing looks favorable for a crypto resurgence. So this is the long game. We have to wait. We have to be patient as possible.
For sure, we're just waiting in anticipation. Well, Nigeria has taken a very distinct move. They have banned cash withdrawals from any ATMs and, in fact, posing a limit of $225. So anything that is drawn above $225, you're not going to be allowed to. It's going to say that you've reached your limit. And this step is being put forward to force the move of the use of CBDC. Do you think this pattern is setting a precedent or could set a precedent? Do you think it's a right move by the government in Nigeria?
Let's set aside the love and admiration we have for Bitcoin and see it from a neutral perspective. As we know, Nigeria is a sovereign nation and their central bank can decide what to do with their monetary system. But barring people from withdrawing over $220, I don't think it's the right move because we have to see that people has the money. I mean, people are the owners of their own money. It's their asset, it's their capital, and if they decide to keep it in one form, for example, paper money, they cannot. That means the banks also think that the paper money in itself doesn't have any sort of value. If you are holding or if you are saving cash for your retirement, I think it's a bad move because your country, your bank can anytime deny you withdrawals. It just happened to Nigeria, and 4 years ago it happened to India also. India had a big wave of demonetization, and people were not allowed to keep more than 5,000 rupees. That's approximately around $60. And people were not allowed to keep more than that, more than $60 in cash. This is just the beginning. I think almost all the countries will start pushing their CBDCs and stop the circulation of the paper currency. And then people will understand that holding their own assets is the key here. It's the key to financial freedom or financial liberation, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's just not sitting right with me, the fact that they're forcing and releasing their CBDC approach in this way. And I'm also wondering that is it a one for one like replacement? So in effect, it's taken out the processing and overhead costs around paper money and then just essentially digitizing that. Obviously, they will need the infrastructure in place and then have the capabilities of monitoring where and how those CBDCs are used. But certainly an interesting approach that's being taken there in Nigeria. I was not aware of that in regards to India.
Exactly, Schwab. And considering the population of Nigeria, only 30 to 35% of the population has the access to internet. I mean, only a third of the population can access internet and they want to push the CBDC right now. It has and it will have severe repercussions because common people they don't have internet access. Even if they have internet access, it's not accessible at remote locations. This is going to cause an internal situation in Nigeria for sure.
So the rich get richer once again, and it's only the elite or the powers that be that does have access to the infrastructure that can actually use it and access this. Interesting. We'll have to see how this develops. Staying with cash, Tether is launching the Chinese yuan on Tron. What do you make of this?
Tron, which is essentially a Chinese supported, Chinese backed blockchain, and Tether is smart. Tether is super smart to launch the stable coin, the Chinese yuan pegged stable coins in Tron rather than in Ethereum or BNB chain or anything. I think it's a right move because now people will be left with two choices. They can either use or they can either store their money in Chinese yuan with their banks and face the risks of sudden knee jerk reactions from the bank, for example, bankruptcy, restructuring, anything like that. Or they can store their currency, store their assets in the blockchain and hold their keys. This is very smart considering China has banned all the cryptocurrencies and all the transactions are illegal. So this gives Chinese an opportunity to convert all their cryptos into a stable coin that they prefer. Because in China, they don't want to hold USDT. They are anti-US, as you know. Chinese have a specific internal structure where everyone promotes Chinese language, Chinese currency, Chinese trade systems, etc. So when Tether gives them an option to hold the currency of their choice, I think this is gonna be big for Tether.
Tether making moves for sure. Yesterday we were discussing them making moves with gold and euro as well. So to see them on board and cater for the Chinese yuan, they are definitely looking forward to maturing as a stablecoin offering. Staying with stablecoins and price and tokens, I'm seeing exchanges begin to delist coins. We know that this does happen, but why is it that exchanges choose to list or delist coins? It was an extensive list. I've never seen it as long as this.
As I have previously worked with an exchange, the listing agreements, whenever the exchange lists a coin or an NFT or anything, the agreement clearly mentions that if the volume, trading volume, falls below this much amount in a week or in a month, the exchange will unilaterally disable the trading of the pair and delist the pair. And usually it happens, or usually the exchange gives an option for customers to swap their funds, and the grace period is usually 1 week. This has been going on with crypto, I mean, forever. But at present, with the wrath of the bear market, I think losing volume is a daily situation. Most of the projects are losing volume on a daily basis, and no new buyers are coming into the system. For example, consider a coin which is not traded in perpetual market. That means the volume will be considerably low when you compare with perpetual option enabled coins. And in future, these projects one by one will get delisted. And what happens when a project gets delisted from an exchange? People will sell in panic. And if the project is good, and repeat, if the project is good, extremely good, then it's a buying opportunity. Else, it's better to sell your assets and run. And you don't have any option to trade it decently because most of the volume comes from centralized exchanges as of now.
Switching gears now and bringing Celsius into the conversation, bankrupt crypto lender Celsius is to release $2.8 million in bonuses, and this is to retain their current staff. I thought they were in Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings. Isn't it a cheeky move to continuing paying bonuses whilst they are holding on to customer funds?
The so called bonus, aka incentive to keep their mouth shut, this is a move undertaken by several conglomerates, and Celsius surely is joining them. And why Celsius is taking this extra burden to pay their employees, like keep them happy. Whatever happens with the users fund, it doesn't matter. Whatever happens in the court, whatever happens in the legal proceedings, it doesn't matter. They want to shed money, they want to pour money into their employees as bonuses, and this can be two possibilities. There can be two possibilities. One, Celsius is laundering money. We don't know that for sure. And second option is Celsius is paying their employees to keep their mouth shut. I think even if one of them is correct, I think we are doomed. As users of Celsius, personally I'm not using Celsius, but most of the users of Celsius are doomed because their funds it's lost forever.
I get the fact that the firm is honoring its staff with payments, but what doesn't sit well with me is how it's treating customers. Businesses are built up on serving customers and catering for their needs. It's what got them to where they are today. So it just leaves a sour taste for me. Yes, continue employing them, continue feeding and providing for their families, but to give cash bonuses in money that they don't actually have or are in proceeds of restructuring doesn't really look good from a customer service perspective. But anyway, that's for Celsius to restructure and come out of the situation that they find themselves in. Moving over to Chainlink staking has successfully launched, and already we've seen over 11 million Link coins already staked. Is this bullish for Chainlink and its token?
Chainlink has a supply of 1 billion tokens, and 11 million, it's not even 1% of the supply.
That's brilliant. You're always keeping it real for us. From a percentage perspective, it's almost not a scratch. But yeah,
Exactly. And when you consider other proof of stake chains like Polkadot is staking almost 60% of its supply. That's over 600 million coins out of its 1 billion supply. Cosmos, likewise, is taking almost 70% of the supply. And Ethereum is already staking around 15 to 16% of its supply. And we cannot say that one person staking for a coin that nobody uses. It's not a big achievement. It just adds more sales opportunity for the team, Chainlink team.
definitely feels like a narrative is trying to be pushed out here from those that are surrounded by Chainlink. When you do compare it to other blockchains, then the numbers do look quite small. But we do have to take it with a pinch of salt. We are in a crypto bear market, and the fact that 11 million has been staked is positive. But it is early days. When something launches, the uptake should be quite high, and for them only to capture 1% is a bit worrying, to say the least. But good moves on the Chainlink team. The fact that staking is launched, that's always a positive milestone. One that we've not actually been speaking about for certainly at the beginning of this week is Solana. What we're finding is that investment products are beginning to attract institutional investors after its price crash. So we've been saying that we don't think Solana is dead in the waters, and the fact that investment products are beginning to bring in institutional investors, this has to be a positive sign and a long time coming.
Exactly. Because Solana, as we know, it is a highly experimental chain and NFT users love the chain. It has everything an NFT user wants, especially an NFT trader wants, because cheap fees, that's a great thing. Cheaper transactions, as in the exchange withdrawals or exchange deposits, doesn't cost you a cent, and faster transactions. For example, if you have bought Ethereum NFTs, you'll know that at least it takes at least 3 minutes to confirm the transactions if you are using the moderate gas fee. And of course, the Phantom wallet is pretty good. in its interface, and you don't need to add custom networks. In my opinion, Solana might be more user friendly than Ethereum. So, always, whenever Solana price dips, the institutions will come in and they'll just buy what's left in the floor.
Yeah, last time we spoke about Solana was its Phantom wallet and the fact that it was opening itself up to other chains. Everyone, it feels like, is kind of protecting themselves and recalculating their risk, especially when we're talking about risk exposure. It's good to see investment coming in for sure.
And yeah, sure. Do you remember that you asked me a couple of episodes before that when should we buy Solana? I said if Solana goes around $10 to $12, it's a great buy. And currently Solana is trading at $13.6. And I don't think we'll ever go to that $10 figure anytime soon.
I'm still personally sitting on the sidelines. I did buy some when it was at 20 or 18, not expecting this further drop down, but here we are. And we will see. We'll continue monitoring it, but we're about 35% away from that $10 mark that you're saying. Many feel that it could actually go a little bit lower, but we'll monitor it as we come along. Let's close off now with a bit of NFT news. Winamp goes Web3 with Ethereum and Polygon NFT music support in a new update. Me personally, I was a Winamp user way back before streaming music was a thing. It's definitely an OG music player of the times. It's very positive that such an old company, a software-based company that plays music, is now incorporating music NFTs, which again, they're in their infancies. I mean, NFTs as a whole is a niche part of Web3, and music NFTs are an even smaller segment of that.
I've also used Winamp, at least when I was still on Windows 7. Then we have better music players right now. And Winamp is just an example of how old Web2 firms or even Web1 firms try to migrate into Web3 and stay relevant. It's all about survival for Winamp. And soon, pretty soon, we can see all these OG Windows applications moving into Web3 space. For example, I'm betting that 7-Zip is going to move to Web3 pretty soon.
Now, there's a discussion for another day. WinZip, the popular extraction software tool within Windows, working with Web3 and crypto blockchain. Let's see what offerings it could do. As always, this has been super fun. I'm glad you were able to jam with us today. That's it until next time. Thank you, everybody. We're signing off.